Hey guys, so I am about to show you what I think is the most underrated weed in the United Kingdom. And that would be this little guy over here. This is called ribwort plantain, or scientifically known as plantar lanceolata. Cool plant right here, grows all the way through winter, albeit not as fast. And in spring and summer, it sends up flowering shoots that look like this. One of the key identifying features would be these long shaped leaves with these ribs going up it, and they're quite prominent, and the whole plant is edible, even the roots, although the roots are usually used medicinally and have been used medicinally for centuries. So the young leaves can be used in salads, and they can also be fried like spinach, although can be slightly bitter, and I would say it's best to take these ribs out because they can be quite tough. I think the best use of this plant would be using the flower heads when they're young and come up in spring, as they can be pickled to preserve them, and they also have a slight mushroomy taste. So if you've ever had button mushrooms, they're quite similar to that, and I think the best way to use them would actually be putting them on a tomato-based pizza. So it's a cool, really common weed that you can forage all throughout the year, and is actually quite tasty when spring and summer comes around. Now this cool plant, which you have probably seen all around, is actually a medicinal powerhouse and has been used by our ancestors to treat things like lung problems and gastrointestinal issues. It contains compounds that are anti-inflammatory and mildly antibiotic, so it's a great little plant to know when you're out in the wild. It can also be used as a band-aid. So next time you see this beauty, remember, some weeds are friends and food. I will say, make sure you're 100% certain on your plant ID before ingesting any wild foods, and always do your own research so you know 100% what you're eating, as listening to strangers on the internet telling you to eat plants that you find outside without knowing you're 100% certain of the ID is somewhat stupid. But there you have it, that's plantain, and it is a little beauty, and it's one of my favourite weeds that we have in the kingdom. And you'll find it all over. Anywhere that humans have been, you'll often find it growing, especially on pathways and little ridges of grass outside houses. So yeah, it's not a weed, it's a wild medicine and a wild food. Another cool thing would be that it doesn't need bees to pollinate it. So if the bees all die out and the plants aren't being pollinated, this little guy is a wind pollinator. So when the apocalypse comes, I guess we'll all be eating plantain.